Here, we are here, we are here, we are here. Hey, this is Robert Ferguson, and I am excited and delighted to share with you a really cool show. We're going to have a good conversation. I'm going to have on the show one of our diet free life coaches, Miss Amy Prine, all the way from Darlington, Wisconsin. We're going to talk about sugar, we're going to talk about carbs. We're going to bring clarity to sugar because not all sugars are bad. And when we get into it, you'll be like, I'm glad I caught this one. So, without further delay, let's get started.
Author and nutritionist Robert Ferguson. Please welcome Robert Ferguson.
All right, y'all, let's hear it for America's Fat Loss Coach, Robert Ferguson!
We're here. We're live. All right, you know what? Hey, without further delay, let me bring on my dear friend, Miss Amy Prine. How are you, dear Amy?
I'm good. How are you, Robert?
We are good.
That opening gets me every single time when she says, Robert Ferguson.
Yes, and do you know whose voice that is? It says
No, whose is it? I love it.
that is Academy Award winner Monique.
I just love that. Every time she comes on, I just love it. I say it with her, Robert Ferguson.
Only thing that would be comparable would be if I had Oprah Winfrey welcoming me, or maybe Flavor Flav.
That'd be awesome.
That would be fun. Okay,
That would be
now,
awesome.
so our time together, I said, look, let's do a live and let's share some information about sugar because there's a lot of people out there that are doing everything they can to shy away from sugar, and they're treating all sugar as though it's the same. And then there's a lot of misunderstandings about sugar in foods, right? To include fruits and vegetables like carrots, bananas, potatoes. People are just running from it like kryptonite, and it's going to cause them to gain weight, which is not true. And there's a whole bunch of people on the internet that are like demonizing sugar. And as you know, as we work with our clients, we have them eating the same foods that many people say you can't eat, but yet we're getting amazing results. So I want to help some people out there, and then I want to talk a little bit about fatty liver and how you can reverse it. Sound like a plan?
Sounds great to me.
Okay, but before anything, for those who are catching you for the first time, okay, they're meeting Amy Prine for the first time. Give us some background. Like who is Amy Prine? How did we connect? What's your backstory to where you are now, where you're actually helping people as a nutritionist and health coach? You're helping people get off medications and all that. What's our story?
All right, here we go. So you and I connected. First of all, I connected with back in the day. It was the Food Lovers program, and I had watched the infomercial multiple times, and I just kept saying there is absolutely no way that you can be eating all of these foods and losing weight as you were showing in the infomercial. So the third or fourth time I watched the infomercial, that was like my calling. Like this is reaching out to me that I am supposed to be doing something. So I ordered the kit. At that time, you didn't have coaches, and did it on my own. And then I heard that you were coming to Chicago, Illinois, and that's where you and I met in person, and it's been happening ever since. So I did the program, and then you offered me to become a coach, which was one of the best things I've done. It's just amazing to be able to help people. So I've been a coach for 13 years, would you say?
Wow.
I should have wrote that down. I know it's been a long time. And I've been with the diet-free life methodology for multiple years. But, since then I've been a coach helping people, which is something that I absolutely love to do, and giving them the knowledge and helping them live their life to their fullest, their healthiest life.
And you just recently got one of your clients is off meds, right? Who's a diabetic.
Yes. So that has been awesome. So he came to me, type 2 diabetic, and I've been working with him. And he just shared with me 2 weeks ago that he had a doctor's appointment and he has been off his medication. And the exciting thing was his doctor had asked him, I guess she was very excited that his numbers turned out so good. And she just wanted to know what he had been doing. and he said Diet Free Life. And she asked more questions about it and wanted to know where. And of course, she said Darlington, Wisconsin, which we're going to be having a retreat there. We'll talk about that soon too, I think. And then he said that he had a coach, me, and she was so excited for him that now he is off his medications. So that's pretty exciting.
No, it's I mean, I'm happy for you. It's interesting that you share this today because one of our coaches, a new coach, Judy, who will be at the retreat with her husband.
Yes.
Her husband's actually going to be going in the retreat also.
Yes.
Yeah. So he's basically in training to be a coach, which I think is absolutely cool. But I was talking to Judy this morning and she shared with me how she went to the doctor and she was getting her annual, lab work done. And it was a new doctor and he saw the progress she had personally made. And in the end, this guy, pretty established physician, he was so impressed with her that he goes, "Hey, give me some cards, give me some flyers so I can start sending people to you." And see,
Wow.
this is what happens like when you're in the right space and you have an evidence-based, clinically proven methodology that you're able to help people. The doctors and the endocrinologists, they will start to refer people to you. You don't even
And I'm
have
hoping that here too. Oh, excuse me. I'm hoping that here too, because this client of mine said that the doctor took down all of the information. So I'm hoping that she will refer people to the Diet Free Life methodology. Pretty
Okay,
exciting.
now let me ask you on a personal note for you personally, right? Because you were a consumer when you first learned about me. What was your heaviest weight and how much did you lose from that heaviest weight?
Honestly, I was my exact weight at that point was 167, 166, 167. That was my heaviest point. And when I got the Diet Free Methanol or the Food Lovers at that time, I've lost between 30 and 35 pounds and I've kept it off.
Wow. 13. Well, congratulations,
Thank
Amy.
you. Thank you. And the best part of all, Robert, is I've kept it off.
Yes.
Teeter-tottering with that 3 to 5 pounds, but on average, keeping it off, eating. That's the exciting part is I'm not dieting. I'm eating what I want to eat. Tonight we're going out for dinner. You don't have to, as long as you know the methodology and how to put food together, you've got it.
Well, education is king, and it's interesting. I shared yesterday in a live about a study that came out that basically was saying nutrition, exercise mean nothing if you're not informed, meaning if you're not educated. And more and more, we're starting to see this. The same as the value of having a coach. And it's not just having a coach; it's having a coach that's coaching you on the right methodology. Because it could be a program like Octavia or whatever the name of that diet is. Previously, was it Metafast? That to me, that's absolutely one of the most horrible nutrition plans ever created that people actually get on and follow, and they have no idea the damage that is causing. I've had clients over the years that have done that and other like crazy diets where they're avoiding foods, and we're battling to get their gut back in balance. It is hell to reverse insulin resistance when you get on these crazy diets just to lose weight. You create so much of a problem in your gut and with your metabolism. I have moments where I feel like, God, are we ever going to be able to reverse this? So people out there who are on these crazy diets and you're counting on capsules and I know you don't want to hear this, and I get that. I get it. I just feel for you. Like, stop. Just stop. But anyway, we're not here to make it a negative. I want this to be positive. So I want to talk about sugar. And I wanted to have like something I could show everybody, but I didn't have time to put it together. But let's talk about sugar. Okay. So I'm going to lead. So there's two categories of sugar, like common sugars, right? You have what they call monosaccharides, which is when you have single molecules that make up the sugar. So for instance, glucose, people hear about, right? Because we test our glucose first thing in the morning. You hear about fructose, and then you hear about galactose. So those are single molecules, meaning they stand alone by themselves, the way they're structured. And then you have these disaccharides when you have two molecules that come together, right? So you have sucrose, lactose, which you hear a lot about because of milk and stuff, and then you have maltose, like that's in barley and stuff like that. But sucrose is like a table sugar. So when you buy like regular table sugar,
Mhm.
that's sucrose. Now, what's interesting about sucrose is that you have an enzyme when you eat table sugar. And so imagine this fist, right? Um, that's not a good example. Okay, you have two, because sucrose is a disaccharide. You have two sugars attached that make sucrose. And when you eat that sugar, there's an enzyme that causes those sugars to break apart. And you have glucose and fructose. So it can start as one thing like sucrose, and then you got two sugars that's inside your blood, fructose and glucose. So far, so good, right?
Right.
And I know, I know you know all of this, but just represent the people. And in the case I'm not sharing it in a way that's making sense, go ahead. You can challenge me or ask me additional questions.
Okay.
Now, I want to focus primarily today on glucose and fructose because they're metabolized in the body totally different. So glucose, when you're at the hospital, right, and they have that IV bag,
Mm-hmm.
they're feeding glucose into you. If they fed fructose in you, you would die. So that's the first thing to understand. Glucose on every cell in our body, we have receptors for glucose. Our muscles use glucose. Our brains use glucose. Like glucose is our friend. And fructose, that is the one that can only be metabolized by your liver.
Liver.
So the liver it takes that, it can take glucose as well as fructose, and it can convert it into what they call glycogen and store it inside the liver. And that's a very positive thing. Where it's not so positive is when you get too much of the fructose, that it can't utilize all of it. And so it then converts it and creates these triglycerides, and now we have fat floating in the blood. And then the liver can start to get fatty. And so it actually creates fat that lives in the liver. So the liver can hold so much like glucose, but it will force and take in a whole bunch of like fructose, convert it into like fat, and then the liver starts to get fat. So when you're eating foods that are rich in fructose, to include high fructose corn syrup, then you're setting yourself up for fatty liver and a whole bunch of other problems, because fructose is what they call an obesogen. It's an endocrine disruptor. It literally can cause insulin resistance when you're consuming a lot of fructose. So right now, people are like, okay, fructose, glucose, whatever those. How does that relate to what I'm eating today? Right? Does that mean I can't eat fruit? No, that does not mean that. It means that you now have a better understanding of why high fructose corn syrup is so bad. And we can bring clarity to why it's okay to eat fruit that does have fructose in it, because it has other sugars as well. Right? So when I look at an apple or a banana or a pear, I know that the pear has way more fructose in it than it does glucose. But I know that honey or an apple, they're pretty close, like 50-50, like glucose and fructose. And that's kind of where you want to be, right? So if I was going to eat a piece of fruit and I wanted to fuel my workout, I wouldn't eat a pear because I know that's over 60% fructose. I'm going to go with a banana that's closer to 50%, maybe 51% glucose, because I know eating that is going to like fuel my muscles, fuel my brain. I'm less likely to store more fat, produce more triglycerides, because I'm eating something that's pretty even with fructose and glucose. And I feel like I'm being like mathematical, like over science. So I
Oh, you
apologize.
explained that. You explained that really well. The fatty liver. I think you really nailed that really well.
Well, you know what's interesting about fatty liver is that in 1980, there wasn't like no one had non-alcoholic fatty liver. But now, fast forward, you're looking at 20-25% of the adult population that has fatty liver, and most of these people don't even know they have it. Same as most people don't know they're pre-diabetic.
So what are the symptoms for the fatty liver?
Symptoms would be everything from maybe like their side where their liver is, they start to feel a little discomfort. Some people will have like a bulge, right, because it's inflamed. And when they go in and do their normal testing, like when they test the liver, they'll see some things that aren't adding up. And then they'll do an ultrasound to rule it out or rule it in. And that's when they can confirm that you have fatty liver. Now you can live with fatty liver, but it can progress to become something way worse. So my recommendation for people, if you have fatty liver, is that you can do something about it right now. And we can help people. The way we teach the Diet for Your Life methodology is automatically putting them in a position where we can begin reversing it. And you don't have to give up fruit. And, now high fructose corn syrup, another thing about that is that there's three basic types of high fructose corn syrup, and they all have a number after them. So you have high fructose corn syrup -90, which is usually part of, like, they use that to make other sweeteners. But high fructose corn syrup number 55 and high fructose corn syrup 45, the number is based on the percentage of the sugar being fructose. So anytime it's over 50, that's when I tell people shy away from that type of fructose, right? Like a pear. If I wanted to get rid of fatty liver, I wouldn't eat a pear, but I would still eat a banana, just because a pear is lopsided. I mean, on the high end, it has way more fructose. Same as agave nectar, right? You'll see people buy agave thinking they're being healthier, but agave nectar can be like 90% fructose. So you have someone who wants to bring their triglycerides down, and you have someone who wants to like reverse fatty liver, and they're using agave nectar in a lot of things because they heard it was healthier than other sweeteners, right? Instead of honey, where honey is almost 50-50 when it comes to fructose and glucose. I mean, it was made available to us by God. It's been around for thousands of years. Honey is like go-to. And if you can get organic honey, go for it.
So as you always say, keep everything as close to nature as you can.
You can't, where we go wrong is when we're taking all these things, right? Whether sometimes it's supplements, we don't know the long-term effect of some of these things. And the further it is away from nature, the more likely it's going to create some disruption. And I'll give you a good example. When I was a kid, and especially in my early years before 10, we only had whole milk in my house. Okay, like we drank whole milk.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my mom buying like reduced fat or 2% milk, and it tastes almost like water when you go from whole milk to that. Well, they've done tests on different stages or process levels of milk. So when it's whole milk, you drink it, it causes the insulin to be secreted, which is not bad. But when you do like reduced fat milk, you're looking at over 300% more insulin secreted compared to whole milk. Like, wow, because it's so much further from nature. So the more processed anything is, it tends to create more of a disruption, and the disruption is taking place in the gut and is causing us to secrete a lot of insulin, which then sets us up for insulin resistance, migraines, and all the things that are tied into elevated levels of insulin.
Isn't that unbelievable?
It's mind-blowing. It's like people would do so much better, but people don't know. It comes down to like, if you don't know, then you don't know. You know what I mean? It's like one guy is saying, or woman is saying, honey is bad, it's too high in sugar. Another nutritionist or dietitian saying, nah, you don't want to be eating carrots, they're high in sugar. Like, are you kidding me?
And then how they do all the marketing too, with all the labels.
Yeah, and people will buy a product based on the claims on the label, which
not knowing the truth.
Is mind-blowing. But when you can know the difference, right, and you can see it for what it really is, then you're empowered.
Mm-hmm.
Because most people do not know. Even the ones that believe they know, they don't know.
Don't know.
They don't know.
They just don't know.
So anyway, so I just want to talk a little bit about sugar. Like, what else can we share with people about sugar? Like, what questions do you think people would want me to answer or you to answer as it pertains to sugar? You know, let me see here. I got Colleen she says, so honey is one of the best balanced sweeteners to use. Absolutely. That is our lady. Look at that. Look at Cindy. Hi, Robert, Amy, Coach Susie here. Amy, you're an amazing coach. Oh, that's nice.
Thank you, Susie.
Hey, how cool.
I'm
Okay,
going to be able to meet Susie. Well, I've already met her, but I get to spend time with Susie when she's here in Darlington.
She's coming. You know, she's a Green Bay Packer fan.
Yeah. Yep.
And Trudy's going to be there.
Yes.
And Cindy's going to be there.
Yes.
I mean, I thought, we're going to have a coach training retreat with 2 coaches. I mean, I'm over the top excited of the people who are going to be there because we're taking everything to the next level. And I'm honored.
Long-term friends. We're going to be reunited. So I'm really looking forward to it.
So let me go back to those sugars because I wrote these down so I wouldn't forget. I mean, I know them, but let's go on. So you have 2 groups of sugars. You have a single molecule, which will be glucose, fructose, and galactose. You have 2 molecules joined together, sucrose, lactose, and maltose. Galactose comes primarily from milk, right?
Milk.
So when you consume lactose, then you have an enzyme in your body, lactase, that will break up the lactose and will create galactose and glucose. Yes. And that's where that comes from. And if you don't have that enzyme, lactase, then those people are lactose intolerant, right? And a large majority of African Americans, Asians, Latinos are, we're talking 70+% of the people walking around are lactose intolerant. They don't have the enzyme as they get older to break up those molecules. And so they have a lot of discomfort in their gut. And that's where that comes from. So they would get
70%.
Oh, I think Asians, I'm guessing, but I know I'm really close. Asians are about 90% of Asians are lactose intolerant. Over 70% of Black folks are lactose intolerant. So 7 out of 10. And they're drinking milk, eating cheese, and wondering why their guts bother them. Over 60% of Latinos, Hispanic people, are lactose intolerant. Same thing. They're complaining, eating cereal with milk, wondering why their stomachs bother them. And they're lactose intolerant. And then probably 40 to 50% of Caucasians are lactose intolerant. So a large majority aren't. And a lot of that has to do with evolution, drinking milk, having cows, going back to Europe, for years and years and years, they are more likely to have the enzymes to be able to break down lactose when they consume it. But the one that is more of a disruptor would be fructose, not in its natural state, but in all of the processed foods people are eating. And here's something interesting about fructose. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
A lot of people got pulled into the glycemic index. Oh, that's high glycemic. Oh, that's low glycemic. Yeah, you want to eat more of that. And then you would see packaging that would say, oh, low glycemic, better on the blood sugar, right? All of that stuff. Sorry. Is that me? Can you hear that?
No.
Oh, okay. I can only hear it on my side. So fructose, when they use that as an ingredient, does not cause the blood sugar levels to go up much. So people will get it because of that. Well, guess what else? Fructose will cause the insulin level to go up big time. Absolutely. Yep. So there you have it. Okay, if you just go by the marketing part of it, then you're setting yourself up to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Marketing's good sellers.
You get pulled in with the wrong information, and that's not a good thing.
No.
So, other than that, anything else you want to talk about while I got you on here, Amy? I know we got the retreat coming up. Anybody can come to it. They can reach out to you. We're coming to an end with the current 8-week fat loss challenge. I mean, there's people who started not long ago, but some people who started when we started like as a big group. The last day is on Sunday. And I'm going to share some information on how we can continue to utilize all the cool things we learned about the challenge. So, I mean, you went through the challenge.
I did, and I
What's
have
your
to.
thoughts?
I absolutely loved it. I've had a couple of my clients do it, and I will honestly say it is probably the best challenge that you've done. I'm very impressed with it. It was wonderful. I've even learned quite a few things, things that I knew, but you just put further in place. I would suggest anybody and everybody to do it. It was definitely worth it. Worth it. So thank you for doing that. You did a great job on that.
Oh, well, thank you. And the feedback I've gotten from the challenge has been great.
It
People
was
really,
it's wonderful, wonderful. So I look forward to it every morning. So that's when I got her done. And yeah, the retreat's coming up. So anybody that can come, you're going to be at the Darlington Inn on Saturday, April 15th from 1 to 3. You can pre-register or you can register right when you come that day. And then that evening, there's going to be something going on. Are you ready, Robert?
okay, go for it. What?
Something you're going to love.
Karaoke?
Yes.
All right, so you got it all set up.
I got karaoke all set up.
Okay.
So that's going to happen on Saturday night, also open to the public. So I'll be putting that out there so people can come and see you, Robert Ferguson, do some karaoke.
All right. Well, I better start practicing.
Better start practicing.
Everybody's going through something.
That's
Hey,
right.
everybody's going through something. All right.
Sure.
All right, Amy. Hey, so for those of you who would like to meet Amy, her website, we've made information about her website available. If you want to learn more about our retreat, if you're thinking about being a coach, reach out to Amy. We're going to be in Wisconsin. I can't wait. Beautiful small town of amazing, awesome human beings. And Amy is hosting this one. And I thank you, Amy, for making it happen, because who knows when I would have actually pulled the trigger and done one. But you said, let's do it. And now we're doing it.
And thank you for coming. I really appreciate that. It's so exciting. So yeah, April 15th, Robert will be here. We're doing coaches training. So it's going to be a fun weekend.
All right. We got it. And anytime, Amy, anytime you want to just go live, if there's some studies you want to like talk about, if we want to share some updates as far as your clients and things you're doing, hey, anytime you know me, just give me a little bit of notice and we can jump on and share information. So
sounds good. I'll take you up on that. Sounds good.
Well, I appreciate you, Amy. I appreciate those of you who got the chance to catch us live. I can tell you that from a research standpoint, Amy, the worst day, if you want to reach more people, that's what I'm talking about. The day to reach the less people when you go live and do anything like we're doing right now is on Friday.
Really?
Yeah, really. Yeah, but you were willing to do it. I was like, you know what? I'm not. Let's, like one of the best days during the week to do it is Tuesday. Saturday and Sunday are pretty good days also, especially Sunday. So I believe the data is like Tuesday, Sunday are almost neck and neck, are the best days to go live. You'll reach the most people.
So you put me on the least day.
Well, as far as going live. However, you will have access to this. You can forward it and share it tomorrow on a Saturday. But it's Fat Loss Friday. I like to do things I love Friday. I've been doing, even though I know that, I don't care. I still do it on Friday. Now I do have days where I do my stuff on a Saturday, and on a Sunday and a Saturday, on Tuesday, but it's okay. Even though the data says Friday's not the best day, who cares?
Who cares?
We still caught Cindy. We still caught Susie. We still like caught some amazing people, and people will catch this. And we talked about sugar. They have a little better understanding about sugar. And I hope my hope is that they realize that fruit, I don't care who you talk to, what expert is talking, fruit is not a problem. And there's some people who I actually respect their work. They're very big on YouTube. But if we were ever side by side and had a conversation about it, everything that they are saying that's making fruit sound bad, I can counter like that. So they're talking in theory, and what their experience is. I've coached, I bet, way more people than those people,
Mm-hmm.
and have scaled way more people and got way more feedback where our people are eating fruit and we're losing weight, we're reversing fatty liver, we're like rocking and rolling. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why they could never win.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there you have it. All right, Amy. Last words.
Thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in Darlington, Wisconsin. And hey, I'm up for doing Fat Loss Fridays with you.
All right. You guys heard it right there from Amy Prime, all the way from Darlington, Wisconsin, where they eat cheese on a regular basis.
Yes. And drink beer.
And I don't think people are lactose intolerant back there, are they?
I don't think so either. Either
There you
that
go.
or they just don't worry about it.
All right. Hey, well, thank you. Until the
All
next
right.
one.
Thank you, Robert.
All right, you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Please share. Go to our YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell so that whenever we upload information, you are the first to be notified. And then you can listen and watch at your convenience. All right, Amy. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.